It's hard for me to get excited about new horror films. I feel like everything's been done already, but whenever I hear good things about a particular film, I see it eventually, and there's been a lot of good ones in recent years. If I had to pick just one, I'd go with Don't Breathe. With a title like that, it seems almost like a spoof of all those don't movies. Don't be afraid of the dark, don't go in the woods, don't go near the park, don't look in the basement, don't open the door, and this one, don't even breathe. But if anything, it's just a marketable title. When I watched this, it got me fired up. After it was over, I was like, damn, horror is still alive. Now, lots of people like to avoid that term, like, no, this is a thriller. But that's where the best horror movies reside, on that fine line where you're not sure exactly what genre it is. The plot is simple. It's about a group of thieves who try to rob a blind man. They break into his house at night, only to find out this guy is one tough motherfucker and a war vet. Right off the bat, we're stuck with these unsympathetic characters. They're trying to rob somebody. There's no way we're gonna root for them. So at first, I'm just waiting to see them get killed, like in any horror movie. I'm definitely taking the blind man's side, but I'm not gonna spoil anything, so I'll just speak vaguely here. As the film goes on, they realize there's more going on in this house than they thought, and there's no good person here. Everybody's bad in some way, but each of them has a clear motive to why they're doing bad things, and their motives are created out of past tragedies. You can tell exactly what each of them's trying to do and why they're trying to do it. After all the suffering, you just want to see it end. You stick it through to the nail-biting finish. You just want to see everybody be okay and hope they learn their lessons, but something keeps happening to prolong the horror. Just one thing, there's a dog that comes after the thieves. So whenever the man is out of the picture, the dog is the problem. But then as soon as the dog isn't there, the man comes back. And then the dog's back. It just creates this nerve-wracking experience. For something that could be as simple as just get out of the house, they put enough barriers in the way to keep it going. The suspense is so great, it becomes almost unbearable. It really put me on the edge of my seat. The cinematography is amazing. There's lots of nice moving shots, but also a good eye for light and dark. The darkest scenes give us just the right amount of ambient light. It never looks like movie lighting. It just looks like what your natural eyes would see. There's also a scene that takes place in total darkness, but they allow us to see what's happening with a muted gray wash over it. You can see the actor's eyes dilated, and it's totally convincing that it's supposed to be dark. Other movies would just make everything look blue, which never really made sense. This is the first time I've seen darkness done well. And of course the man is blind, so when everything goes dark, he has the upper hand. It reminds me of the movie Wait Until Dark from 1967, where a blind woman defends herself from criminals by breaking all the lights in her house just so that the criminals are just as blind as her. But of course, with anybody who's accustomed to being blind, from what I've heard, you use the rest of your senses to your full advantage, which all become higher than average. Is there anything I didn't like about the movie? Well, there's a few plot details, which I won't go into, that make you question certain things. So not everything is 100% perfect, and there is one specific moment that probably went too far. If you saw it, you may know what I'm talking about. I think it's similar to the moment in Misery when Paul finally gets the upper hand and takes the pages of the book and shoves it into Annie's mouth. Here, something else gets shoved into somebody's mouth, and it comes off as overly comical, or it's just a laugh-out-loud crowd exciter, a relief in an otherwise bleak film. Not much else to say. Check it out. Not perfect, but I think it's one of the best horror films I've seen in a while. There's lots of other good ones recently, too, and hopefully there's a lot more good ones on the way.